or DM me, and I'm talking to a friend of mine right now who's actually filming this. He's holding the camera right now, and I was kind of talking to him this morning about how I use Twitter and things you should do in Twitter if you're going to be an effective or a power Twitter user, I guess you'd say. I've been really fortunate to make a lot of friends, and I thank every single one of you for being my friend on Twitter, but I've been able to gather about 5,000 followers in about 90 days. And I just use real fundamentals to do it, okay? And the biggest thing that I would tell you on Twitter, number one, is personality. The number one rule of Twitter or social media or actually the number one sin in marketing is to be boring, okay? You know, this is something you ought to think about. You've got a friend, probably. If it maybe a friend you hadn't seen in a while, maybe a friend from high school or something, that when you get together, you guys just go crazy. You act a fool, you act stupid, you joke like you did in high school, you did all those things. That's the way you want to be with Twitter. I mean, these people are your friends. They're new friends of yours, okay? But they have a lot of options. They have a lot of people who want to be their friend, okay? So the whole idea is they're going to probably gravitate to the most fun person, okay? This is just like a party. We talked about earlier in a previous video that I did on social media. I talked about how all my social media stuff, I view it as going to a party, okay? So when I'm at my Twitter party, I'm fun. I have a lot of personality. I say what's on my mind. I try not to say anything that's offensive, although occasionally, yeah, oh, I slip, you know. But for the most part, I'm not offensive. But you need to really develop your personality and just really be you. Don't be afraid don't always candy coat everything. Don't be afraid to go out there and say something that's kind of a little bit on the edge, okay? Post some funny things. Post some entertainment. We'll talk about what to post in just a second. So, personality 2, have fun, which is kind of personality. And 3, give value. This is content. Now, it doesn't always have to be your content, okay? If you'll notice, I mean, I post a lot of things on Twitter, and my original content probably makes up 5-10%. I wish it made up more. I'm trying to do more of that, obviously, right, today, you and me. But I'm trying to do more of that, but I'll read a lot, and I'll give you a couple of my secret sauce sources in a second. But I read a lot, I scan a lot, and I get a lot of stuff in from Twitter followers that I follow, people that I think are way, way, way smarter than me or way more connected than me. I like to gather what they're doing and then kind of pass it on to my people that may not be following them. And that's why I have 2 Twitter accounts. Okay? My number 1 Twitter account is the Twitter account that I'm using right now, the one that I communicate with everybody with. I talk back and forth all day long with people. But I've got another Twitter account where I kind of follow brainiacs. I kind of follow authorities, people that I really, really, really just feel like are brilliant. They might not know who I am. They might not know I exist, okay? But they pass along some pretty heavy nuggets every now and then, and I get to kind of go through those, find out what's going on with them, and I sort of filter those for my Twitter audience, for my people, my friends. And that's the whole idea. If you're filtering, if you're bringing together data and only giving the very best of what you're finding to your Twitter followers, you're doing them a really big service, and that's content, whether you're creating your own content or not, okay? You can write your own comments about the content that you're creating. Okay, so number 4, let's talk about, well, really quick, let me talk about where I get some of these, some of the content. Where? To aggregate from. I have a couple sources where I find content that I already know is popular, already know is good, because a lot of other people have already done a lot of work to find it. Number 1 is my second Twitter account where I've got my authorities. Like, for instance, I drilled down in Steve Jobs' account to the very first 10 people that Steve Jobs followed on Twitter. You kind of get that? Why do you think those were the first 10 people he chose to follow? Those are probably the first 10 people he likes to get information from. Does that make sense? Okay, so you're able to go to authorities in your industry, find the first few people they followed. That's who they're learning from, chances are. So that's one source. Number 2, there are a couple of aggregator sites that I absolutely love that find stories, aggregate them by how popular they are and by how many people like them. One is called popurls.com, and they basically They basically go through Dig and Delicious and all the different social bookmarking sites and tell you what stories are the hottest today, what people are reading the most, what they're most interested in by the amount of clicks they get. So it's sort of like a big testing engine, and the cream rises. So the best stories in the country right now are coming off Pop URLs. And number two, I love alltop.com. Alltop.com is like Pop URLs, but this is a Guy Kawasaki site, which I'm a huge Guy Kawasaki fan. I love you, man. And anyway, but alltop.com basically does the same thing Pop URLs does, but it does it in very specific niche industries. So if you're into baking, or if you're into Mexico, or you're into whatever your thing is about, Pop URLs goes out and finds the best blogs and the very best stories in the country at any given moment about those things. It's really good resources you can pass along, okay? So this is a great place to get aggregated resources. And then do your own stuff, do videos and whatever. So what do you post? I'm running out of board here. I don't know what I'm going to do if I run out of board. Okay, so what kind of stuff do I post? I got a couple things. Number one, I post resources. That's one. Number two, I post support messages. I help people. Somebody says, hey, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. I post support. Number three, I compliment people. When they've done something well, I try to compliment them. And the reason why is so many people do a lot of cool stuff that goes totally unnoticed. So I try to compliment them and tell them they did a good job, okay? I post links. I post a lot of links, different things that I find funny. Sometimes it's entertaining. Sometimes it's stuff to my blog. Sometimes it's again, resources up here. So I do links in probably 70% of my posts. Also, I ask questions. This is a really biggie, okay? This is a really biggie. So many people go out and post on Facebook, post on Twitter, and they just post statements, okay? Statements are not interactive, okay? The whole idea is these are friends. You want to start conversations with them. What do you do when you're at a party? You ask questions. You get people talking about themselves. That's what they like to do, okay? So ask a lot of questions. That's really important. Put that big question mark. Try to figure out how, even when you're replying to somebody says, well, what'd you have for breakfast? And you write back, eggs and bacon. How about you? Question mark. It makes everything conversational. You begin to have these conversations and you start to get to know people, okay? And also, I respond. If you send me a Twitter message, there's about I'd love to say 90%. I'd say 70-80% chance I'm going to get a chance to actually respond to you. Okay, but I invest time. I invest 3 to 4 hours every single day. Did you hear that? 3 to 4 hours of my life every single day into Twitter. Okay, so I respond. But I'm gonna tell you, if you're not gonna respond, you're not gonna get to know people. It's not gonna work. Okay, you have to make an investment here, just like you have to make an investment in networking. I want to tell you a story just real quickly. How long have I got?
We're at 8 minutes.
Okay, I got 2 minutes. I'm going to tell you a story real quick. Do you know why partners make partner in a law firm? It's not because they're better lawyers. Usually the better lawyers are associates. They're down here. They're the ones doing all the hard work. The partners make partner because they're better socializers. They spend 90% of their time socializing and rainmaking, okay? Because they know more people, they get to know more people, and embed themselves in the community, okay? Now, lastly, I want to talk just for 1 second about selling. If you'll notice something, I don't ever sell anything on Twitter. I really don't ever try. I may post a link every now and then for a friend of mine selling something or whatever, occasionally, but very, very, very rarely. It's not a place to sell. I talked about it in my previous video. It's like going to a party and trying to sell Amway at a party you got invited to. It's no slide on Amway, whatever. But
nobody likes that guy, though.
Yeah, nobody likes that guy. So that guy's the biggest asshole there, right? That's what I always say. You don't want to be the asshole. And you don't want to be the asshole here either. You don't want to be selling things on Twitter. This is a place to meet people, converse with people, and it's very much like a bar or a nightclub. You're not going to probably build lasting, deep relationships at Twitter. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, the last thing I try to do at Twitter, so what's my purpose? What's the purpose of being here? It's getting to know people and to send them on to get to know me better, okay? Like I said before, my blog is my home on the internet. I want them to go to my blog, get to know me better. I want them to go to my Facebook page, and I'm going to do a video on Facebook pretty soon. But I want to get to go to Facebook right now. I want you to go to Facebook. I'm Perry Belcher at Facebook. I'm twitter.com/Perry Belcher. If you get a chance to go follow me, please do, and you'll see more of what I'm doing. I'm totally out of time. I got to go. Bye.